currently serving as a professor of data science and technology at KJ Somaya Institute of Management. He has been instrumental in bringing about significant changes in curriculum for courses in data science, information technology for management, technology program as chairman and board of studies in data science. Professor Jha is also the current chairperson for the AACSB accreditation team and has successfully mentored the B School towards receiving the coveted AACSB accreditation. His contribution to the academic community has been widely recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming SICTIM 23 Conference Chair, Professor Dr. Devendranath Jha.
Thanks a lot for the wonderful interaction and great start to the event, wonderful rendering of the prayer. As a chair of the Somaya International Conference on SICTIM Technology and Information Technology Management, SICTIM 2023. Okay? Okay, I thought. So, as a chair of the conference, I welcome you all to this inaugural function. This function or this conference is organized by the Department of Data Science, KJ Somaya Institute of Management, a constituent academic unit under Somaya Vidya University. I feel extremely honored to welcome you all to this 9th edition with a wonderful theme, value creation through digital transformation. We have a partner, technical partner as IEEE, and we hope that it meets our expectations. Respected Vice Chancellor sir, who is connecting online with us, our Provost Shivaka sir, our Dean and Director Dr. Raman Ramchandran, for whom digital transformation is very core to his heart. We are indeed indebted to your good offices for all the support and encouragement. The team SICTIM is thankful to all of you for agreeing to grace this occasion and provide valuable insight. The SICTIM series started in 2014 and continues to bring together industry professionals, experts, resources for workshops on trending topics. We are delighted to have researchers in information technology, and we provide suitable platform them to discuss and exchange their ideas. It has been always our dream to get associated with professional bodies for the conference, and the IEEE was in our mind since last few years. For the conference, finally we could collaborate with IEEE Bombay section and its endeavor, in its endeavor of our, we received tremendous support from Mr. B. Satyanarayan. We welcome you, sir, for this inaugural function. I'm sure it will again meet our IEEE expectations, and I'm thankful to you for responding to all the questions, queries that we troubled you with, okay, with lots of patience. The fact that role of information technology has changed from being a tool and enabler to the driver of the business strategy. The enterprises across the globe are innovating and embracing it to remain afloat in this competitive world. We are glad that this year's conference theme has generated great interest, resulting in high quality of research papers. We welcome all those who have submitted the papers. We received help from many, and we would like to acknowledge all for their contribution. First, we are thankful to all the authors for the conference. We also express our sincere thanks to Dr. Santosh from IEEE Bombay section for all the technical support and guidance. Along with the paper presentation by the contributors, the conference organizers planned two distinct workshops for the participants. One was on reinforcement learning and its application by Professor Bo An from Nanyang Technical University, Singapore, which we conducted yesterday. And today afternoon, we have moving towards intelligent enterprise, IoT 3D printing from concept building to prototyping. This will be conducted by Dr. Ninad Mendele, our Associate Professor from Electronics in KJ Somaya College of Engineering. Furthermore, SICTIM 2023 received 122 papers, and after 3 rounds of peer review, 22 papers were selected for the conference. This paper, based on their context and concept, addressed are classified into 3 tracks. Track 1, the data science. Track 2, networking and cyber security. And 3, techno-management. All these papers will be presented tomorrow. The conference provides great platform for academic and industry to share experiences. Having put the academic requirements in place, the team needed professionals from industry to provide insights on digital disruptions that they are going through day and night. We all know technology of today is going to become obsolete tomorrow, and we need to keep pace with it. We are indeed fortunate to have our very own former student, Mr. Rohit, CTO, CMS Infosystems, and our distinguished alumni as our guest of honor, and Ms. Vinita Prasad, Head IT and Digital, IT and Digital St. Gabriel Northland as chief guest and keynote speaker. The team SICTIM welcomes you both and look forward to your insight that will benefit each one of us. Team SICTIM welcomes our new area chairperson, Dr. Jaya Iyer, members of the faculty, members of the technical and programs committee, student volunteers, and members of the administrative support and technical team. I also take this opportunity to thank all the members of the Board of Studies and other professional bodies who directly or indirectly helped us in planning the conference. We are grateful to you, dear students, for being here, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot of things to take away from this conference. Ensure that you take liberal notes, discuss freely with your peers, and also ask questions as and when you feel you have them jotted down. Thank you very much. I once again take this honor and pleasure to welcome you all for this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the warm welcome and for being an inspiring figure to each and every one of us. We feel really privileged to have your support and backing with us all the time.
I am glad for the opportunity to introduce Professor Dr. Raman Ramchandran, Director of KJ Somaya Institute of Management, Dean Faculty of Management Studies, Somaya Vidya Vihar University. Sir has a proven track record of success across the Asia Pacific and South Asia. Dr. Raman Ramchandran has a PhD in agriculture from the University of Adelaide, Australia, and spent the early part of his career in academic research at international research centers such as ICIPE, Kenya, IRRI, Philippines, and the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He retired from BASF in March 2019 and subsequently joined PI Industries as MD and CEO. He recently stepped down from his operational role as of December 2021, but he continues to serve on the board of PI Industries. His contributions to the chemical and petrochemical industries have been widely recognized, and he was recently awarded Lifetime Achievement Award by the Chemical and Petrochemical Group of FICCI. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Raman Ramchandran, a true leader in history, to give us opening remarks for SICTIM 23.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Good morning. So the honorable members on the dais, in the interest of time, I will not address each one of you, but really great pleasure to have you all here. We had some wonderful, pre-meeting discussion, and I was really excited to hear that industry is also saying, how are you trying to get your students day one ready for us, right? So particularly with Vinita, we had some wonderful discussion, ma'am. We look forward to continuing this conversation and maybe collaboration to make sure our students are day one industry ready. Professor Jha alluded to or made a statement that I'm a big fan of digital transformation. I heard that if you are a head of an institution or a company, you need to talk digital today. So this is like part of the uniform, right? So that's one of the reasons why, I talk digital. But in all honesty, I was exposed to the importance of digital in the company that I worked for, PSF, 22 years, the German company, where we started talking about digital transformation almost 20 years ago, right? And it took various forms. I also realized during that process as head of a regional business and then head of the country business here in India, that while digital transformation on the face of it look very exciting and looks also that it will create efficiency and it will create value, it's not necessarily so. Sometimes when you are trying to do a digital transformation in a company, there's a lot of pull because it's a sexy thing, it's a thing to do. So a lot of people say, yeah, come and do it. And then there is huge resistance on the other side. And that's why I was excited with today's topic of value creation through digital transformation. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing a digital transformation, if it does not create value for all the stakeholders, it will prove to be a very interesting technological exercise, and probably the adaptation of that will be very, very poor. And I've seen this in real life quite a bit, and hence I was quite excited when I saw this title of value creation through digital transformation. Now, what is value creation? Talk value creation to MBA students, the first thing they will say is that, my market share went from 100 rupees to 150 rupees and created value. But that's really one dimension, that's just one stakeholder. True value creation comes when you are creating value for the multiple stakeholders that are involved with any enterprise. And I thought I will use one very small example of early digital transformation back to late 90s and 2000 out of a book that is a favorite book of mine. And this is about a gentleman by name Harris, who was a software developer in the late 90s in Silicon Valley. And I guess in those days you developed your whatever you did, but then you sent it out in a CD. He used to use courier services to send this out. And many US courier services would generally say that, on time and otherwise money back guarantee and all that kind of stuff. And he realized that most of his customers never got this, or many customers called back and complained that his package never arrived on time. So being a software developer, he decided to develop a tracking device. And he said, I'm going to now track my packages. Do they really arrive on the time that these courier companies promise? Now it happened to work, and so he made this available to all the others. And now comes the story of value creation. So he said, you can subscribe to this on an annual bottom line fee of $9 or $9.90 or whatever. Now I believe the courier market in the US is something like $65 billion in those days. And there are also market research estimates that at least 5% of everything that is shipped is delayed. And hence, if you are somebody who is sending out 1,000 packages or 2,000 packages in a year, and you are subscribing for $9.90, and you are able to claim $10 for every delayed package, you can do your math. The value creation is huge, because you're potentially likely to get about $1,000 back in a year for a bottom line $10 spent. So that's a value creation for the customer who is going to subscribe to this particular tool. But there is also more other intangible, because if you know that your package is delayed, there's a lot of things that you can do. So there is a small but elegant story of how a business model or how an idea creates value. A digital idea creates value. And of course, this company, which was called timesauditor.com, I think, eventually I think got bought up by FedEx or somebody, because I tried to search for it. It doesn't exist, but I'm sure given the model, but of course this whole tracking is now a ubiquitous, very redundant technology, so probably the value proposition itself went off. So I thought that's a great example of how do you create value creation through a digital initiative. On the other hand, how it does not create value came from a very recent experience of mine in my current role as a dean. Because one of the things that I realized is that students keep coming to me with various issues, and students came to me and said, sir, we now have only a 10-minute break between classes, and we don't have enough time to go to the canteen, so we want tea served, just outside our classes. And we have already spoken to the hostel guy, the canteen guy, and the canteen guy is willing to bring it here. And so we have this interesting way, we're going to issue coupons, and then we will have our tea after the class. Now, being a true CEO, digital CEO, I said, you've got to be kidding. I remember using coupons 40 years ago when I was studying in college. You went to the canteen. And in today's digital age, I am not going to allow coupons. You guys come up with a digital, way, QR code or something, and then we will talk about it. So 2 weeks later, they came back again with the canteen guy. And they said, sir, this thing is not working because first thing is the canteen guy says that students cheat because they pay once and drink 4 teas, and they tried something like this, about a year ago, and the canteen guy lost about ₹100,000 in about 6 months' time. I said, well, that's very disappointing. I thought we were trying to teach our students value and moral, and if this is what is happening. Yeah, and then there were logistics issues as well. So here is the case of a digital transformation, which looks very interesting, but obviously did not create value, for the stakeholders because of the context and because of the situation that we are in. So I thought these two interesting examples illustrate that digital is not a solution to everything, and hence value creation and thinking about value creation, has to be the core of any digital transformation initiative. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot more from very experienced technology experts who are sitting on the dais. I don't want to take time away from them. So thank you again, and I wish all of you a great conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. Your words enlightened us with your vast knowledge and experience.
It's my pleasure to introduce a highly respected and accomplished academic leader, Professor Dr. V.N. Rajashekharan Pillai, Vice Chancellor of Somaya Vidyavihar University, widely recognized for his contribution to the field of education and his leadership in advancing academic excellence. Sir has been at the helm of affairs of many higher educational and scientific research establishments for the last 47 years of service as teacher, researcher, professor, and executive head of education, science and technology establishment in country and abroad. He also worked as a visiting research professor at University of Lausanne, Switzerland. After superannuation from the Government of India and Government of Kerala, Professor Pillai worked as a president of Mewar University, Chittorgarh, Rajasthan. He also worked as a president of New Delhi, NCR-based civil society organization, Human Development Foundation in India since 2015. He is a director board of Apollo Group of Hospitals and on board of several academic and research establishments in the country and abroad. Now we request our Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. V.N. Rajashekharan Pillai, for his special address to gatherings. Sir will be joining us via remotely Zoom.
Thank you very much. Am I audible? Am I audible? Thank you very much. I'm extremely sorry that I could not be there physically with all of you there. Let me congratulate the Department of Data Science and Technology of the KJ Somaya Institute of Management for organizing this event. This has been an annual event for the last 5 years, I know. And this time, you have selected a theme for this conference as value creation through digital transformation. I am sitting in Shillong. In fact, I am part of a discussion meeting deliberation. Minimum government and maximum governance. That is the theme of the conference. Of course, we are deliberating on that. So it is very important to create value and apply digital transformation. Definitely, the term value is it cannot be 100% objective. It can be definitely subjective also. We have to just look at what type of value we have to create for which systems. And whenever we say about digital transformation, it is the combination of human and technological capabilities. Our interactions, all types of interactions, coordinations of data, all these things, cost will be reduced through digital transformation. And it is also very important that we evolve a clear strategy and set goals for digital transformation, looking at the type of industry, type of institution, type of organization which we are looking. So there is no doubt this will be for fast and simplified decision making. In the higher education sector of the country itself, we are now deliberating on with all these different accreditation agencies. Today we have different accreditation agencies in this country, just looking at combining the data, all the data together, and then instead of institutions submitting all the data to different agencies, how can we just look at as a country the whole data can be easily available. In the case of digital transformation, higher education has been concentrating on it, focusing on it, but lot of things need to be done. In this country, we have the DigiLockers. For example, the millions of students in this country, including the school students, CBSE students, including the plus 2 students, can deposit their entire credentials and their certificates, mark lists. All this data can be stored in a government-sponsored, government-created digital repository known as DigiLocker. We have also in this country, we have the Academic Bank of Credits. And I am proud to say that our university is 99% of the students of our university, they have an Academic Bank of Credit account number, which is just like an identity, the Aadhaar card for them. So the entire credits can be deposited, and this is for enhancing and encouraging credit transfer and credit mobility across institutions. So in the higher education sector, lot of things can be achieved through lot of values can be achieved, lot of physical efforts can be minimized, and the human intervention can be minimized, and the cost can be reduced. Definitely, cost can be reduced, and it adds to operational simplicity of credit transfer across the institutions. If you have this digital transformation in higher education in India, that will be a great achievement for the over 1,000 universities and 50,000 colleges across the country. And when it comes to industry, I don't have to say more about industry. Dr. Ramachandran mentioned the industry. For example, cost effectiveness, and then we can enhance it. These speed, data-driven decisions. This is very, very important. When we say all these things, we are not giving everything to the machine only. We are definitely, the human intelligence is definitely going to not contribute. It is a significant factor even when it comes to the modern forms, new avatars of artificial intelligence. And therefore, combining human intelligence with technological capabilities, definitely lot of values can be created in all walks of life, whether it be in education, in knowledge sharing, in research, in industry, in agriculture, and in all areas where education is involved in enhancing the quality of life and life management systems. So, as a country, we can be proud that we are far ahead in digital capabilities, but when it comes to the real application in the fields, probably we are even now lagging behind, and therefore it is not only in financial technology or industrial sectors, even in the rural areas, people need to catch hold of the advantages of digital transformation. I think it is really transformation. It's not just incremental addition to whatever we are saying. It is not just IT reform for it. It is a digital transformation. It is a digital growth. Probably in the years to come, the information technology, that word will be to some extent with us. It is not just IT reforms or incremental reforms in IT, but it is an overall transformation, and it is definitely transform the lives of the people across the globe, and it will definitely enhance our capabilities in a very positive way. Let me congratulate. I understand that from Professor Charles Premas, I understand that good number of papers, 23 papers, research papers, all these things are coming in the seminar. It is very important, of course, in all our research seminars. I focus on one important factor. The quality of the research papers has to be very critically, very effectively looked into, and it is not just the publication of paper that's the count. It is the quality and application of the research itself into the in enhance the quality of life. That's more important. So we have to just look at the quality, and also young researchers in our institution, and all institutions and across the world, they have to really look at quality norms and ethics in research publication. This is very important. The publication for publication's sake has to be some sort of it has to be discouraged. And I know very well that the KJ Somaya Institute of Management, our premier institution in the university, is looking at quality and relevance at all levels. And let me wish this program all success. And thank you very much. Let me also, on behalf of the university, let me welcome the chief guest. I understand that you are alumni of this institution, and let me welcome you to the university. And let us look at possibilities of collaboration with the industry in achieving digital transformation and applying it properly in the right context. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for addressing us all with your words of wisdom and also sharing your valuable experience.
It is my pleasure to introduce Professor Dr. Raghunath Shevgaonkar, Provost of Somaya Vidya Vihar, to give us a theme talk. Dr. Raghunath K. Shevgaonkar is a scientist who provided dynamic leadership in engineering education in India for more than 4 decades. An alumnus of MITS Gwalior, IIT Kanpur, Indian Institute of Astrophysics and IIT Bombay. He is a pioneer of e-learning initiatives in India. He is the first non-American professor to be conferred the prestigious IEEE UG Teaching Award. He was the director of IIT Delhi, Vice Chancellor of University of Pune, and Vice Chancellor of Bennett University. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Dr. Raghunath Shevgaonkar to share a few words with us.
Our today's guest, Dr. Beendra Prasad, Dr. Rohit Kilam, our Vice Chancellor, who could not join physically, but he addressed us online mode. Dr. Raman, the Dean of Management of Somaya Vidya Vihar University, Dr. Jha, and all the distinguished colleagues and the participants for the conference. At the outset, let me first congratulate Dr. Jha and the School of Management for organizing this conference on a very apt theme, which is the value creation through the digital transformation. I am from technology side, so I'm going to talk more about technology. And as I said, it's a theme talk. So I want to give you a perspective of what is happening in our country as far as the digital transformation is concerned. So if you really look at the data of the internet users and the mobile users in our country, it is very interesting that we have about 1.4 billion people in India, that is 140 crore, out of which the mobile communication or mobile connections, if you see, there are 110 crore people have mobile connections. There are about 62 crore people who have internet access, and the active people on social media are about 44 crore. These numbers are really mind-boggling because these numbers are equal to many of the countries of Europe put together. That's the kind of number India has. So when we talk about digital transformation, one is of course when we talk about that we want to do many things in India, we should be digital. But for doing digital transformation, primarily you require three things. One is you require infrastructure to support, which is the information and communication technology, the infrastructure. Second thing are the applications which will ride on this infrastructure so that people can use of this infrastructure which is made available. And third and most important thing is the willingness to do the digital transformation. Why I am saying this is that whenever we do this digital transformation or digital incorporation in our systems, many of the things happen which many of the people don't want. And one of the things which is very important is that digital thing when you get into, it creates a great amount of transparency. It creates a great amount of accountability. Right? You cannot say that I sent a message or I sent a package to you and you did not receive it, so I have an excuse to say, well, and you did not send the package. In digital transformation, it doesn't happen. If you send the mail, precisely at what time you send the mail, everybody knows. If you did not send the mail, everybody knows that you did not send the mail. That means there is a great amount of accountability which is built in the digital transformation system. Now coming to the infrastructure development, as far as national development is concerned, we have got a huge amount of infrastructure created over last about 2-3 decades. The internet actually started about two decades back. And if you really see today, there is about 3 lakh kilometers of optical fiber has been laid in the country to create this infrastructure to carry the high speed information. We have got 122 crore Aadhars which are connected to the digital systems across the country. That is something which the country has done very, very proactively and very, very commendable. We also have a national knowledge network which sort of provides the information across the country with a very great speed, and people can really make use of that. So when the infrastructure is created, the second thing which is required for implementation is that the digital empowerment of the citizens. What that means is you have to first create the digital literacy among the people. Today people might be using the internet, they might be very, very active in social media, but are they really digitally literate? And you will see that the digital literacy doesn't mean sending WhatsApp messages and sending emails. Are you aware of many of the digital platforms which are created in the system by the government or by somebody else? Are you aware of all those platforms? And you will see, incidentally, many of the people may not be even aware of the schemes which the government of India has done, for making the digital transformation. Now, the 2019, the government of India defined the digital path which should be met by 2025. And what are the areas which the government of India has identified for this? One is, of course, the e-governance. Second one is the next generation financial services. Then you are having the e-commerce. Then you are having agriculture, where it is targeted, the farmers should have at least double the income than what they had in 2019. And the health, the quality of education, the energy, the smart grid and renewables, the IT infrastructure and software capabilities. Make in India, make for the world, and job and skills for the future. These are some of the things which Government of India has spelled out in 2019 to achieve by 2025. And we are not too far away from that. We are just 2 years left, and the last 3 years are already completed. So in 5 years' time, whatever has been proposed by Government of India, something has been achieved and something is still on the way, and we have to achieve that. At the national level, if you look at, there are projects under the category what is called the e-Kranti, and there are, if I give you numbers, there are 15 central government projects which are there in various areas. There are 17 state level projects, and there are 12 integrated projects, which are across the country in different areas. So if I look at the areas in which there is tremendous progress which has been done in our country, right, and we should be really proud of it, because many of even the developed countries do not have those kind of facilities created. One of the things which is created, of course, is the e-governance. Now, young generation probably may not know that 20, 30 years back, to given a single document from the government, how difficult it used to be. To get a driver's license used to be how difficult it was. To get a passport, how difficult it was. I remember my own case when I joined my job back in 1975, I had to get a certificate that I am a citizen of India. And believe me, there was nobody who wanted to give me a certificate that I am a citizen of India, because there is no late procedure there. So I went to the Tahsildar and he said, how do you know that you are President of India? I said, my father used to work here, I am born here, this is my school certificate which I am showing you. So he said, but that's not enough. I said, but then what is required? But he said, I don't know. So systems were not in place. Now when you got this kind of digital systems in process, you can get the passport online, you can apply. You can go there and collect it within 15 days time. Right? The time is reduced to as low as possible. You can access the government documents, right, with a great ease sitting in your own office. These things have happened in last 5-10 years. And this is something which has added to the efficiency of the system and the trust in the system. That whatever is happening for the public good, because you have an access to all the things which the government is doing. So that is something which is achieved under the e-governance. Then you are having the information technology and the digital technology application for the health industry. Now, under the health industry, you can have now the training which can be done digitally. You can have the consultation which can be done with different doctors in India digitally. You can have a telemedicine. You can have a e-pharmacy. All those things actually can be done with great ease across the country, even to the remotest location in the country. And that has happened because the will which the government put forward, that we want India should become a digitally advanced country. Many times you may not realize that even in our systems, in our offices, the laptops and the machines which we use, they are far superior than even the machines which are used in the United States in the academic institutions. I've experienced myself. The Dell computer you might be having very up to date. Many universities in US, they may be having some 10-year-old Dell computer which they are still using it. Right? So we should be really proud of it, that we have done fantastically digitally. The next area where we are doing very good and the digital transformation is going to play a role is the agriculture industry. The Kisans are empowered. Right? They can have an access to the knowledge, agricultural knowledge which is available not only in India but across the world. They can have the market situation about their crops. They can go and sell the crops with the competitive price. Right? So there are many schemes also which the government has created where the Kisans can update their knowledge and can put their own knowledge so that other people can be exposed to their knowledge, which can be traditional, which can be non-traditional, and various things which can take place. Then the major impact in digital technology, if you want to see, that is in education technology. In fact, after the COVID, everybody is convinced that digital technology is the technology to take the education forward. There was a time when people thought that teaching in classroom face to face was the best way of communicating. Today people don't think that way. The younger generation certainly doesn't think that way. They don't think that the examination should be given in 3 hours. They think examination can be given in online format wherever they are sitting. And this actually gives the empowerment to them. This tells them that now you can do what you want to do. Nobody is dictating terms to you that this has to be done, that has to be done, right, and so on and so on. So in education sector, you may not be knowing there are 25 educational platforms across the country. Many of you might be knowing about SWAYAM or maybe NPTEL or maybe 1 or 2 e-laboratory or something like that. There are 25 platforms, believe me, where you can do research, you can do, there is a digital library where you can access material, you can post your own material, right? You can have the collaborative program, you can have a research fellows forum, various platforms which have been created there, and we want that everybody should really make good use of all this platform which the government of India has created. Now this is really a proud moment, and if you really want to see the value creation which is done, you can see in e-commerce term, there are 26.7 billion Aadhaar authenticated transactions takes place every year in India. There are 24.3 billion annual payment business transactions take place annually. And there are 870 million Aadhaar linked bank accounts in the country. This is the empowerment which the digital transformation has given to us. Value-wise, if you see, and if you want to measure the value in terms of money, you will see this is going to create $1 trillion economy in the country. And about 40% of this economy is going to come from the startups, which is again going to be very heavily supported by the digital technology which is available to the young people who want to become entrepreneurs. So the scenario is very, very rosy, and we can really do wonders through digital transformation in the years to come. However, just to, as a word of caution, any transformation which you do, the transformation always doesn't transform the good thing. It always transforms bad things also along with it. And what digital technology has done, actually it has done so many opportunities and so many good things, but it has posed a lot of challenges also in front of the society. And there are two major challenges you should be really concerned about. One, of course, is the technological challenge. That can you have the infrastructure, can you have internet, can you have bandwidth, can you have mobile phone, can you have commercial accessibility? All those things are technical challenges, right? Which probably, if we come together, we will be able to meet those challenges very easily. But there is another challenge which the digital technology is created, and they are the sociological changes which the digital technology is created. What digital technology has done is, it has created the isolated islands. Earlier, it used to have a lot of distributed interactions across the country, right? Everything. So it is said in the modern technology that the world is shrinking, but the families are falling apart. I mean, that is the statement which you hear very often under the digital transformation technology. So the thing is, when we want to create the value, from digital technology, I would add to that, let us create the values rather than value creation. In addition to value creation, you also create the values in the society, so that we become a society which is a more sustainable society. And the digital transformation can really make a society which is a happy society, sustainable society, where everybody can live very, very happily in the years to come. So thank you very much once again, and wish you all the best for the conference. You have a great time and good experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Your unique perspective on the topic has helped us gain a deeper understanding and appreciation of the subject matter.
May I now introduce to you Professor Dr. B. Satyanarayana, Scientific Officer, TIFR, ex-chair, IEEE Bombay Section. Dr. B. Satyanarayana did his BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineer from JNT University, Hyderabad, and PhD in Physics from IIT Bombay. Is working in Department of High Energy Physics, TIFR, since 1983, is currently a Scientific Officer and Coordinator of INO projects. Dr. Satyanarayana has published about 250 research papers, and his very first paper won the Best Award from Institution of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers. Recently, he was honored with the Homi Bhabha Award in Science Education and has been selected as a distinguished visiting professor at Symbiosis Institute of Technology, Pune. Dr. Satyanarayana is a fellow institution of electronics and a member of Instrument Society of India ISOI and a member of Indian Physics Association IPA. He won IEEE Bombay Section Outstanding Volunteer Award for 2014 and IEEE Headquarters MG Achievement Award for 2016. It would be my honor to request Professor Dr. Devendranath Jha to felicitate Dr. B. Satyanarayana. Your commitment to academic excellence and research has inspired us, and we are grateful for the opportunity to learn from you. Thank you, sir. I would like to call Dr. Satyanarayana to address us with a few words of wisdom.
Good morning everyone. I have two great challenges this morning. Of course, people were talking about challenges, but the challenges for me is number one, he said many things about me. I hope I'll live up to that standard. But the biggest challenge is always to speak after Raghunath speaks, and he is so comprehensive. He talks so many things as if all these numbers are in his fingertips, literally, and he makes such a great summary of the situation. So there is nothing left for anybody else to say anything else. Okay. Fortunately, the organizers, Sudarshan, asked me to speak. The topic that is given is IEEE, the context of this conference. Luckily, Raghunath didn't touch IEEE, so I was saved a little bit. Otherwise, if he has touched, then I would have been out of the job today. Okay, thank you. It's a great pleasure to come to this campus. First time, I never visited this campus. It was fantastic and very green and beautiful, and I'm sure all of you are very lucky to have been working here. And at the same time, I also want to kind of congratulate my own family of IEEE volunteers here, whom I see, who have been, I guess, behind the various responsibilities of this conference. And of course, at the very outset, let me also wish grand success to this conference, and especially to the younger participants and authors of this conference. Okay, well, I didn't quite do something which I should do in the beginning, to namely greet and thank all the dignitaries that are there on the dais. So since my kind of agenda was to speak about IEEE, and also this particular meeting is about, in some way, technology driven, and the theme being value creation through digital transformation. I want to share my own thoughts a little bit randomly, but I hope it makes some sense at the end of the day. I somehow strongly believe that every time something really, adverse things happens to humanity, surprisingly, the technology comes to save the humanity in some sense. You won't believe that the best of the technologies that we have today actually came up during war times. There's World War I, World War II, where people were suffering. There were a lot of problems throughout the world, and all the countries involved, and their killings. There were bombs. There were many things. But if I tell you, the best possible simulation software was created in 1940s for creating bomb. The best possible technology, the nuclear, came out during that time. The best possible computations came out during the World War time. The best possible information technologies, communication technologies, microwave, electronics, digital systems, etc. They all came during the World War time. Why? Because people want to compete against each other. People want to kind of have one-upmanship. I want to be better than you. The cryptography, the way I want to send messages without others knowing, etc. All these things came about. They had, these seeds were actually shown during that time. Right? Isn't it? But we also had something similar that happened a few years ago. I hope we came out of it. The thing called COVID. Many of the computation technology, many of the artificial intelligence technology, many of the data science technologies, etc., which of course people have been practicing for a while. I remember I was very excited in the early 80s and I want to become an AI engineer, etc., went and did lots of stuff there. But then, the fact that we try to kind of mimic human brain, and I thought the best way to create artificial intelligence is to mimic natural intelligence and so on. That didn't take us anywhere, and I actually got very discouraged and then left that and started doing high energy physics and whatever. I don't know what is that, but the point is, we left that there. Now, when it came back and you said that, look, AI is, instead of using these technology, use conventional information technology, conventional computation, computer science, engineering, etc. It started actually producing fantastic results during the time when everybody was looking at pharmacy, medicine, imaging, and look at all those scores for COVID and etc. Who came to the rescue? It is actually the technology, and some of those technology which people gave up actually came up with such a great, kind of rebirth. And then we found that this is the best that saved the whole world, not countries. So always I somehow believed that, no matter what, the best of these things happen at the time when deep distress of the community. And we never look at money, we never look at gold or something else, but we look at literally towards technology, science and medicine and so on. I think this is where once in a while some of us also get into limelight saying that science is good because it helps you to be able to automatically look at chest X-ray images and identify what is the score of the COVID in no time and so on and so forth. So it's a very interesting. But I don't want to digress, into the technologies. Why I gave this preload is way back in 1840s, the fastest way, since Sir mentioned about this, the fastest way that I want to communicate from, let us say, place A to place B is actually literally walk towards that and then say, okay, you please come to our conference to, during inauguration and so on. That was the fastest communication that happened. Is where you actually literally, travel to that place. And that was the time when, I'm talking about 1840s, when people like Thomas Alva Edison, Graham Bell, and people like that, right? If you hear their names, it really creates goosebumps. These people thought that instead of we creating our own wealth by industries, whether it is power, whether it is, radio engineering or whatever it is, let us start something which is of help to the community, which is of help to the humanity. So that is how so-called American Institute of Electrical Engineering started in 1840s. When Marconi came into the being, he also said, I'm a radio engineer. It's also something which we want to use for the welfare of the society. So therefore, he started what is called, International Radio Engineering, of Engineers, right? International Society for Radio Engineers. Now, at some point of time, see, this is what happens when you want to talk about technology, not only for creation of wealth, but also to serve the humanity. They said, look, the best way to actually is amalgamate these two. So you have, American Institute of Electrical Engineers and IRE, and combined in 1963, very nice auspicious day, 1st Jan, and then they said, we will have to form what is called Institution of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. And as we all know, IEEE is actually technically formed in 1963, right? Now, the point I have been mentioning around is when you are talking about technology at the highest possible level, but also I'm talking about how it helps to the humanity, how it helps the people on the street. So therefore, the tagline that was chosen even, it said that, advancing technology for the humanity. Now, this connection of advances in technology, and which of course Ragnar talked about, and also the human, he gave examples of medicine, he gave examples of agriculture, of course, education and so on. But this is the connect one should not lose. When you become a maybe great technocrat, of course you may start maybe a startup and become very wealthy, but your connection to the people, to the ground, to the man on the street, person on the street, we shouldn't kind of forget. So IEEE has been really going through that kind of a mindset. 400,000 professional members, which is in some way, the world's largest one. About a third or even more of those members are student members and spread over 160, 170 countries. And, it really touched every corner of this world, just because there are 25 to 30 Nobel laureates who are IEEE members. IEEE you consider to be a kind of engineering body, but it's actually something which encompasses not just engineering, but science, medicine, and every walks of life. By the way, I want to also take this opportunity to talk to some of my IEEE members to say IEEE doesn't anymore stand from early this year. It doesn't stand for Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, but IEEE is just IEEE. There is no long form of IEEE from 1st Jan of this year. The reason this decision was taken is to say IEEE just not an association of group of engineers, but it actually works towards more of the help towards the humanity, but it doesn't matter which branch of engineering or physics or chemistry that you belong to. And now, as I mentioned to you a while ago, IEEE, of course, known to affect our entire humanity in different ways. But one of them, some of the senior colleagues here probably would know, is what is called standards. And if you are from ICT background, if you are from electronics background, if you are from communication, you'll also see all this plethora of standards. Okay, they're all actually owned by IEEE. IEEE owns almost about 1,500 standards. I remember the first time I used a standard, I didn't even know that it is actually belonged to IEEE. And as you and me are speaking here, there are 500 more standards which are getting developed by IEEE. One single contribution of IEEE, if you want to make, that is what That is what, when people develop technology, they don't see the direction in which you go. So I develop a 3-pin plug which doesn't go into a socket that you have in your house. The simple thing is to have standardized the whole thing. All these 1 or 2 point something, if it is not there in place, you wouldn't have imagined today Internet getting into so much publicity and popularity across the world. Doesn't matter which language you speak, which kind of country you come from. Standards are the ones which will bind people and progress and also industry. So IEEE is actually very well known for those kind of developments. Other point is that which, since I already mentioned a lot about the humanity and so on, the major trust the IEEE puts on is also about what is called SICT, humanitarian aspects. People go far away from the place of their comfort, and I'm very happy to say today that students from typically engineering colleges, earlier they used to come to IITs and TIFRs, BRCs, whatever it is, do internships. Now they actually go to small villages across Mumbai outskirts and then actually work towards their internships, improving the quality of their life as an IEEE member. The so-called SICT humanitarian efforts of IEEE is really bringing great fruits, I must say, to the community as a whole, and also bringing, again, I have to quote saying about the value that you create through digital or other transformation, but also creating a value itself in the mind, sense of belongingness, sense of inclusiveness, sense of, you said families falling apart, but actually going back and meeting them. This is everything we inculcate, not just only the technology. So IEEE is a kind of underlying a way of thinking, in some way of life, where while you grow as a technocrat, as a leader, all the IEEE young volunteers here who are behind organizing this, obviously they also inculcate ability to kind of organize, leadership, communicate, articulate certain things. This is what we want to bring somebody when they pass out, when they walk out of a college, they should become a matured citizens before they go and take up their responsibilities. Last but not least, IEEE is a big player behind organizing. I know your VC mentioned about how important it is, the quality of papers that you kind of publish. At the end of the day, apart from the food and banquets and greetings and so on, and of course that's important because especially we do expect people to come from various places, so they want to feel very comfortable. But at the end of the day, what remains as a real output of a conference is the quality of papers that you uploaded to, let us say, repository. In this case, what is called Explore, which is a huge 5 million documents, of a repository, where I understand about 8 million documents downloads per month. That is the kind of size. IEEE sponsors 200 conferences a year. As you and me are talking, there are 4 other conferences happening by IEEE at this moment, right? So it publishes around 200 top quality journals in the country. In the world, in the electrical domain, the top 19 out of 20 journals are actually published by IEEE. 19 out of 20 journals. It really tells you, if you open up, 1/3 of technical literature is actually published by IEEE. If you open up all the patents and say, IEEE literature is referred 3 times more than all world literature put together. That is the kind of monopoly as far as the technology are concerned. But we also want, as I said, to kind of bring, why this is so? Because time and again, every conference, one must ensure that the quality of the papers is extremely top quality. So therefore, even we as a so-called technical sponsors, I know Sudarshan and many others knows about this whole process that we went through. We are very finicky about making sure that every single step is actually satisfied in order to make sure the final outcome comes in very well. So IEEE also, of course, ensures the list of topics, the way the procedure that you want to follow, the conference management system, plagiarism and other checks and so on, and everything we want to make sure that when papers are submitted, they test, they kind of take the test of time, and they are well referred. At the same time, it adds a value to a huge ocean of knowledge, and there is the original contribution that comes from. Every undergraduate student obviously cannot write a Nobel Prize winning paper there. But what we want to see is, I see second year, third year standard third year students submitting papers on saying that, look, I want to look at the image of a patient, and then able to kind of look at the data and say that, okay, I'll be able to kind of decipher a particular disease or not. No, these are kind of something about a work that a person conceives from the very basic and do their own original contribution. Of course, important that faculties also play a big mentoring role to all these students and so on. So at the end of the day, IEEE is not just only the technology body, but also tries to make all the students grow in their own technology as well as social beings. So I hope I was able to kind of impress upon or give some gist of what IEEE is about and how it has been behind all the successful conferences, especially in terms of quality. So with this, I want to once again thank Sudarshan and also all the dignitaries here and for giving me this opportunity. And once again, I wish all the best for the success of this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your life experience and valuable contribution. I'm sure everyone present here picked up something inspiring from you.
It gives me immense pleasure to welcome such a noted personality as our guest of honor, Rohit Kilam sir. Mr. Rohit Kilam is an alumnus of batch 1997 of KJ Somaiya Institute of Management. With his multifaceted experience, Mr. Kilam has worked in strategic roles across various countries including India, US, UK, Denmark, UAE and Vietnam. Mr. Kilam's experience is diversified and he has undertaken challenging assignments in digital transformations, IT strategy, IT performance management, building digital products, operating models, M&A IT integration, outsourcing governance, tech product development and ERP implementations. Currently, Mr. Kilam is leading technology for India's largest cash management company. Mr. Kilam is leading technology for India's largest cash management company, where he is rolling out an IoT platform in over 22,000 locations across India. Mr. Kilam is a role model for many aspiring leaders in the technology industry. We are honored to have him as a part of our community and look forward to learning from his insights and experiences in the future. Mr. Rohit Kilam, it is with great respect and admiration that I ask Professor Dr. Raman Ramchandran to present you with this token of our appreciation. Thank you, sir. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Rohit Kilam to the stage.
Good morning, friends. Hi. Let me first be honest. I'm kind of humbled to be here and really honored by the previous two speakers here who've been speaking, very distinguished in their fields. So I'll pause for my heart rate to go down and my metabolic rate also to go down. All right, so let me keep this I'm a practitioner, right? So I'll keep it very practitioner oriented. I had a presentation. I think I'll just pass it on to you. I'll just speak one slide and I'll speak from core experience, what we have worked on, what I've been able to build and deliver. Before we go ahead, I'll just give you a brief journey by, how I came here, right? Let me put that through because a lot of people don't know what I did after leaving Somaiya, right? So, well, I joined like a normal guy. I joined I joined a company with a pre-placement offer, and I joined, and I was working in a financial services company. And as I was walking through my career path, I got interested in technology. And yeah, I'm a bit fidgety speaker, so you'll have to bear with me, right? So I got interested in technology and genuinely curious about it. And I'm pretty proud that I'm very curious till date. I still be a student of technology from that standpoint. I've happened to, because of this curiosity, I happened to work on some marquee, interesting projects. The metro line that you're looking in Bombay, pre-feasibility study, I was part of the team which we presented, right? That was year 1998, 2000, when we presented in Mantralaya how the metro has to be built in Mumbai and how it has to be solved for, using technology. We used a specific program called Saturn Satchmo from London Transport, and we simulated the traffic 20 years ahead and said what needs to be done. Similar, we did a study on the flyover program. Remember, there was I think, people with a bit of grey hair will remember there were flyovers getting built in Mumbai, right? Massive amount of, and MMRDA called us, what is happening, can we do this? And the World Bank is saying, do not do this, go to the MUTP plan, which is the railways-based transportation approach. And we came up with an approach, and they had planned the flyovers across. We came up with a very critical report on this to MMRDA. In fact, if you remember, there were people who would remember, is there was a flyover being planned in Haji Ali, which was not made. That was critical report from us. If you still see the Andheri flyover on Western Express Highway, is double the height. They were planning a shopping mall under it, right? And we went very heavy against that. So some kind of things like this. Then lucky, because of my curiosity and by grace of God, I got to work with IRCTC when it was being formed. So actually when IRCTC was just like a POC, proof of concept, we started working on it in 2001, 2002, and I happened to learn a lot around e-commerce at that point of time. Then my journey continued, and off late then the interesting opportunity which came, I don't know how many of you know, there is a lot of debate going on nowadays between the old pension scheme and the new pension scheme. I was the project director for new pension scheme to PFRDA, Pension Fund Regulatory Development. How, if you see the statement, I don't know if any of you have subscribed to it, right? The statement comes out like a passport, right? Exactly how. We actually designed that. And I worked on this Swavlamban scheme, that is the scheme to work to get the pension for the poor, right? Your rickshawalas, your auto guys, how do you build that? How do you build a scheme for that? That was my first foray into the product and things like that. So, long journey cut short. Of late, I'm in CMS, and we're building multiple technologies across cash movement and ATM across the country that I'm working on. So that's a small journey from our standpoint. 2 takeaways: life is digital transformation. So so you need to keep learning, you need to keep moving. Digital transformation will not stop. Very rightly said by Professor, its effects on society are immense. I'll leave you with one takeaway, that transformation, and especially technology transformation, is deinstitutionalizing the existing systems. It is education institutions, it is market systems, it is society systems, it is family systems, anything, even financial systems, Web3, right? It is deinstitutionalizing the existing systems. That is the effect that is going to happen. We see it happening. I have seen people with being a certain complacency around it, but the way people have looked, people who have moved ahead with the trend have been more curious and been able to move ahead from that standpoint. Now, let me come back to this topic around digital transformation and what does that mean. So, don't bother about the slide, some boring slides I put together. This was for a CIO conference which I did yesterday. Just go to the last slide. I just don't want to talk about. I can give this to you. That's okay. So when we were looking at digital transformation in the current context, right? What is digital transformation? Is building a new process a digital transformation, or is doing a new analytics dashboard a digital process? None of them. Digital process is something that creates value. And how do we define value? It has to affect at least 15 to 20% of your EBITDA. That's when we're talking about digital transformation. Otherwise, they're just digital projects. Right? And how do we arrive at this business value? By looking at specific business problems. Gone are the days when you would be given a set of requirements. The days are when you have to look at business problems together and solve them. That's the current, I would say, current way of work specifically. So how do we identify business problems? How curious are we to solve for using technology? That is extremely important from a digital transformation. So I'll take you through an experience of mine. Clearly, this is for the largest conglomerate in India, which I used to work for. They are in infrastructure and transportation and power and FMCG across sectors, right? How they were working. The basic plan was identified after studying the current structure, current processes, and overlaying the technology map on top of it, and identifying what my business problems are, where are my white spaces on it. A bit conceptual, a bit heavy when I talk about it, but on ground, it is very specific. For example, if it's a manufacturing setup, right? How does my SCADA system integrate with my ERP system? Is there a specific gap there? And how can I use that information to leverage and build it right to the end at my market interface systems? That's exactly what we are looking at. That's how it was planned. What is the value that we derive out of it? We built a specific business case for it. All business problems translate to a specific business case. Once we identified the business case, we identified key business owners for those cases. We identified the metrics for this. And when we identify metrics for a digital transformation program, they're not unidimensional. We're looking at operational, we're looking at financial, we're looking at customer, and also the market metrics for it. So all these metrics are clearly defined. Once these metrics are defined, then we define how to solve the problem. Right? Now we have identified the problem, we identified the white spaces, we identified what needs to be done, and then how do we solve for? What technologies do we use to solve for? So if you see part one, we are only focusing on business problem to be looked at. Right? A lot of time people, enterprises get very excited with technologies and start, experimenting with technology. Right now, like for example, we have Copilot, which has come into the market like last week or something, right? For Microsoft. People are very excited, they want to see, but is there a business case for it? It's a very powerful technology, right? Is there a business case for it? How do we use it within our organization? That's exactly what we need to see. So first part is just about business, identifying the white spaces, looking at what needs to be done. Second part is around how to solution it, and that's a very strong role from a technology standpoint. How do you build solutions around it? Correct. And then you start benchmarking those solutions with your best in the industry, cross industry also, not only best in the industry, cross industry also. So you start looking at cross industry benchmarks as well. Once you build that, then you build a specific roadmap to it. Yeah? So that's my third part of it. When we build a roadmap, we get a milieu of projects around it. It could be a 20 project, 30 projects. How do you identify? So do you have a specific prioritization criteria with respect to ease of implementation and the business value that the project gives? You map them on the 2x2 quadrant and get a clear prioritization matrix on a roadmap. These are the things I want to do based on ease of implementation and my business value which I get from these projects. You would do on the 2-and-2 matrix, you would do the ones which give you highest value and the easiest to implement first, and then build the roadmap from there. This was an exercise which we did for this conglomerate. Unfortunately, I can't share the names. We did 81 projects in 2 years. And each of these 81 projects were divided into 4 streams. 4 streams means there were specific streams according to them. One was a finance field, one was CapEx projects, and then the solutions around each of them. Each of these streams had one business case. So I had 4 business case with multiple metrics to achieve once I implemented to go live. Once I've done that, we had an adoption framework for the digital transformation. Very rightly put, change management. So as they say, culture eats strategy for breakfast. It actually happens. You might build the best of the systems. It will not be used. I have lots of examples around how we have built systems and not used, right? And this is in e-governance. Some of them offline I can share. It's pretty humorous ones as well. So how do I ensure my adoption is high? The focus, the 40%, 30% focus of digital transformation is on adoption and a constant feedback mechanism. In this example, what we did was we actually rolled out the system across locations in India, and they were in 50 plus locations. The teams went to do an assessment check of how the systems are getting used in these places across the matrix, got a specific feedback, and we built those feedback into the systems before we started wave 2 of the rollouts in this specific case. So and believe me, out of 4, 2 were successful, 1 was okay, 1 failed entire. The reasons for failure are specifically if your ground team is not aligned, you will not. If your executive team is not aligned, you will not be successful in any digital transformation that you are looking at, right? So that's from a digital transformation standpoint. But I just wanted to talk about a couple of things which are important for all of you to understand as you move on and will be part of some digital transformation / programs / projects as you move into commercial industry. One, that speed, agility, extremely important. How do you achieve agility? You must have heard of, I come from a lot of fintech and a startup world, so we talk about MVPs, minimum viable products. How do you build minimum viable products fast? If you're taking 6 months to get on to your first stage itself, believe me, you are a non-starter. You will not get a buy-in from the executive, right? Rather than you build something quick, show how it works, and then get a buy-in for the second phase, third phase, and you actually build it out in phases. So how do you build fast? That's extremely important. And if you're doing something so quick, you don't need large budgets. You need two pizza teams, as we normally call it, right? Two pizza teams are commando teams, right? They are not the infantry which 1,000 people brigade which goes into an enemy territory. It's just a 12 people team. Two pizzas, 12 people. I assume we don't have large appetites, but two pizzas, 12 people, very deep skill, one. Number two, very high commitment and very high intensity as teamwork to do, right? Those are two, three things which are extremely important for people who work in these kind of teams and build stuff. WhatsApp. What was the team that built WhatsApp? What was the number? Any guesses? Take a guess. The original team which built WhatsApp was only 18 people. Right? Similarly, I can go on and on of giving you examples. The products which are built by smaller, deep skilled teams are much more cohesive and better. Like we used to debate this a lot. In fact, I take it personally because I worked with Tata's for 10, 12 years, and they said you can never make a product in India, right? Till the time we started looking at fintech, and we are cutting edge in fintech across the world now. Right? The products that we build in India are emulated across the world. UPI in India has only two equivalents in the world. One is Chinese, one is Mexican. Right? So how do we build? So that's one thing. Second is AI accelerated. Move things fast. How do you move things fast? You work on no code first and then start coding as and when you want to do. So build an app on a no code platform. Doesn't matter. We move faster like that. That's the other part of it. Product studios are a norm. That's what we use as executive teams across. We use a lot of product studios. That is a norm going forward. You build an internal product studio if you're a large company, or you can outsource this piece as well. Gamification is extremely important, and a lot of people tell me that gamification is related only to the top cities in India. No. I have my blue-collared workers. I have 22,000 blue-collared workers across India, sitting in Jharkhand, sitting in Orissa. Everybody is interested in gamification. Gamification is not a city phenomenon. And it increases adoption. Any digital initiative, it increases adoption a lot. Right? Then I think automation is also very important for us to get the agility on. Thanks to DevOps, we've started looking at automation internally, but external automation is also very important. Right? As much as possible, we start looking at automating stuff. I spoke about two pizza teams. I think more and more teams for digital transformation that I'm using right now are micro entrepreneurs and solo entrepreneurs. Extremely important because we want deep skills. We want specific skills at a specific period of time. So the depth of your skills are extremely important, specific in this case. I would, pop-up digital experiences are important where you have screen real estate, which is rare to get people onto using your apps and things. That's important. Design I want to talk about. I think that's extremely important. We pay so little attention to design. Half the people actually don't understand the difference between UI and UX. It's extremely important to understand UI and UX. And as I always say, software training is a cost of bad UI UX. So it means, or to put it very simply, so all of you can understand is nobody taught you nobody trained you on Facebook. Why? Why didn't anyone train you on Facebook? That's why. That is the cost of bad UI UX if you have to be trained. So how do you focus on design? It's extremely important. Should there be a drop down? Should there be a free text field? I'm just taking I'm taking examples which are relevant. You will immediately feel as soon as you come there. How would you design that portal? Should you keep a free text field or a drop down, for example, right? Or should be a radio button? There is a purpose for each of them. There's a color palette for each of them. What do you want to do? There is a call to action. There is a CTA in each place, right? If you are in a B2C space, what is your CTA that you are looking at? Call to action from the person who's using that. And it is very relevant in B2B as well. You are looking at adoption. Your digital medium will not get adopted if you do not focus and build on these issues. So build fast, build quick, have intense teams, focus on design, right? These are pieces which are extremely important, specifically in today's genre of digital transformations that is coming onto the market, and you will yourself ride this wave as you move into the industry, right? I just wanted to share some experiences. Thank you very much. I'm open to questions if any, right? Thank you. Yes, 81. There were divided into 4 streams. 2 of them very successful. We managed more than 100 crores of benefits on 2 of them. 1 failed. 1 was okay. We just barely managed. Failure of most of these digital transformation projects are specific to 1, poor alignment. Right? That means the tracks which were successful had the CEO reviewing it on a monthly basis, and the COO reviewing it on a weekly basis. Right? That was 1. Number 2, the one which failed, the entire business track had completely changed. What they had envisaged as a business problem had moved. So water under the bridge had passed away. So dynamics of the external market also affected. Those were the 2 specific reasons. It's rarely technology. It's very rarely technology. We have challenges when implementing solutions, but technology is always solvable. Is what my take is. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So taking clue from your answer, you used a beautiful word called deinstitutionalization, mostly used with mental health. You clubbed it with organizational behavior. And as you said, technology is very easily solvable. And major problem is this deinstitutionalization where people are involved. So did you come across some situation which was tough to manage, and how did you do that? Because I was a part of one ERP team, Professor Jha can vouch for it, was successfully implemented but was not adopted. So that was the issue faced by me. So how did you manage these kinds of issues?
So I've seen issues where there are labor issues. We're still in my current organization and my previous organization. I've seen a labor issue where people do not understand what the change is coming in. So first thing is creating awareness about the change that is going to come. Second is making them understand the benefits of what the change is going to be. And third is training them on that, right? So they exactly know how to run that with the changed process. Then the feedback around it. Then only any change initiative is going to be successful, right? So I have seen large labor problems. We were implementing a very big system in a PWD, I don't want to name the state, and there was a dharna right outside the head office there because they didn't understand what change was coming. They thought, we've come in, we are from World Bank, and we're going to take away their jobs, right? So That's exactly what I meant. They need to first make a proper communication plan for the change, which is extremely important. Please do ask. I don't mind even any kind of questions. Complete automation. Testing automation is, so I have a view. Testing as a service is a very industrialized way of doing software development. That is gone. That is only if you're doing industrial testing in a large organization like a TCS or a V, or I don't want to name organization, but very large organization which has armies of industrial software developers building things. If you're building a product, software testing is something that has to be done peer to peer. You have to build the standard, build it right there. Run a GitHub Copilot on top of it. Testing ऐसे ही साथ में हो जाएगा. Right? You don't have to put two additional resources who would go and anyway they just run the use case test cases on top of it. 90% of the time, testing is manual, which is very time consuming and it's completely not agile. I could be wrong, right? But that's my view.
So if you are you are involved into the system, so why don't you write the article, or why the companies are not?
I'll be happy to collaborate. I think I've done at least 50 years presentations. I'll be happy to. But actually, if you ask me, ERP as an enterprise resource planning, the days of SAP, Oracle, Dynamics, people are moving to open source. People are moving to Odoo's. People are moving to specific verticalized software.
We gave them the idea about the open source solutions available for the ERP. We are giving the commercial solutions, everything. But when it comes to the teaching, delivering the knowledge, or you can say the passing the knowledge, transferring the knowledge to the students, we should have some kind of a case study or the material apart from the routine textbook.
Yeah, I'll be happy to talk about it, but it's a very specific topic.
So
Because ERP is implemented like it starts with like, let's implement a financial system. Right? Go ahead and start building a financial system, which is pretty cookie cutter because regulations are straight. What GST regulations are there, what we need to do from a process standpoint, close our books, get the quarterly result, get the end of year result, get the P&L balance sheet, right? That's a standard process. The challenges start when you start getting into areas which are not so standard from an ERP standpoint. That's where challenges start coming in. My process is when the challenges start coming, when the users start telling you, I have a very complicated process, right? I've heard this 50 times. Every user thinks this process is complicated, right? So how do you start creating a blueprint? Problems start from a blueprinting phase. How do you start creating a blueprint for the ERP, right? And products don't matter. Oracle, SAP, blah, 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 right? It doesn't matter. How do you think about the blueprint is extremely important. What is your objective of creating an ERP? Is it you should be able to close your books in 2 days? Is it inventory control? Is it branch level profitability? What is the objective that you're driving at? A lot of people, if you ask 10 people in the organization, everybody will give you a different goal for the ERP. That's where the problem starts. The CFO will expect, for example, a unit level profitability, correct? Your manufacturing guy would expect cost reduction, right? Or a specific cost metric. Your marketing guy would expect a clear view around a daily sales report coming out of an ERP without any effort. Well, all three are different things. How do you look at that? Should I make a basic P&L unit at branch level? Should I make it at a level higher above that, right? At a distribution point or at a head office point? Those are the questions where you start creating failures in ERP, frankly.
So basically, it's a strategy. So
It's the blueprint. Strategy is much later. It's the blueprint of how do you want to operate. And secondly, organizations are changing so fast. Right? ERP is a very industrial software. Very industrial software. Organizations are changing so fast. ERP processes are changing so fast. You just cannot keep up pace. So that's why they will have plug-in specific solutions for CRM. They will have plug-in specific solutions for GST sitting on top of financial system of ERP. You will have a distributor management system sitting on top of ERP. You will have a procurement system sitting on top of ERP. So ERP is getting debundled as we speak about from an organization standpoint. There are very few very large organizations which are very stable are using ERP effectively across, but few and far.
Thank you, sir. So from the KJSM, it's an open invitation that we can club together and write some case study.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, question.
So the question is like
what challenges you have to overcome like in the beginning of your journey? Like what would you suggest for us? Like we are in the beginning stage right now. So what kind of challenges you face in the starting of your journey? And like we could have learned something from that.
Okay, that's a career question, but let me take a stab at it. I'll just give you my personal example. One, curiosity. Second, openness. A lot of time people told me, they get a mindset. मेरे को यही करने का है सिर्फ. They don't realize what leads to where and where this would go ahead from here onwards, right? So keep an open eye on and curiosity. I think hard work, diligence is something that is given in this scenario. Don't close your eyes to, hey, this is finance. Hey, this is not finance. I only want to do A, B, C. It's only after 20 years you will realize what I want to do, right? So just keep an open eye and be curious. I think it's extremely important to be curious and learn. Go down the rabbit holes each and every time you find something interesting. You don't know what you will stumble upon. Just go down the rabbit holes. Web3, क्या है, क्यों है, किस लिए, कैसे यूज हुआ? What are the disadvantages of Bitcoin or versus what is happening on blockchain? Go down the rabbit hole, understand. A lot of times we reject a lot of things because we have preconceived notions about something. Don't have that. And in future, everything is going to get, as he said, the effect is on society, effect is on people, effect is on core technology. There is no one way, one unidimensional career which is going to come on. So don't close your eyes on anything. And as long as you are curious, you will keep growing and learning. That's all I can tell you from my experience. Yeah.
So, since we earlier heard about solopreneurship or micro entrepreneurship, so like, is there still scope of survival in the market? Still, already so many big giants are available in that field already. So, is there still scope left for newcomers or like solopreneurs right now?
Absolutely. Why not? It all depends on you. What is the depth of your skill? We still use a lot of solopreneurs. We still use a lot of freelancers. If you are good, believe me, you will be 100% employable. You just have to build your cutting edge skill. And you have to identify that niche as well. It's both ways. It's both ways. I can tell you, I have some 12th class guy who's writing amazing Python code. He wants to do some internship, he wants to work on it. I have some people who come to me who've done some very interesting design work, and they want to showcase their work to us and say, can we do something else apart from this? So there are people who are doing very, very specific niche work, right, from where they grow up. And then location is not a bar, right? I'm talking, your markets are not India. But you have to grow in that skill. If you don't grow in that skill, it won't happen. You can't have a generic skill and be a solopreneur.
Sir, what are the generic mistakes which you have encountered in like micro entrepreneurs or full entrepreneurs, which we can avoid in our future?
I think he is indicating you. I'll talk to you outside on this. I'll talk.
I think there are quite a few queries this. I think we need a separate session.
Sure, I'll do that.
Give us, we can give them 15 minutes.
Sure, I will. You, last question you wanted to ask quickly.
Around lunch.
Around lunch? No, okay.
Just after this.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for generously sharing your life experiences. We are very grateful for your time and effort in making this event a success. Your presence has added immense value to our program and will be remembered for a long time.
I'm profoundly delighted to take this opportunity to introduce our chief guest, Ms. Vinita Prasad. Madam's expertise in IT infrastructure management, migration, analytics, mobility, enterprise content management, automation and integration has been invaluable and in deriving organizational growth and success. Her proven track record in leading teams and managing complex IT projects has resulted in improved business outcomes, increased efficiency and significant cost saving for their organization. With an unparalleled commitment to the excellence and unwavering dedication to the success. She is a senior IT professional who is true asset to an organization that is looking to transform and innovate. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to request Professor Dr. Raghunath Shivgaonkar to felicitate our chief guest, Ms. Vinita Prasad. Your contribution to this conference have been invaluable and we are proud to have you as our chief guest. I would like to call upon Ms. Vinita Prasad to share the keynote address.
I think it is good afternoon from good morning. So, first of all, I'm very happy today to be here, and I feel I think little young in the company of all young coming generation. So that was one of my motivation to take out time today and come to this conference. And I'm really feeling very, very honored and pleased today. And after hearing from Professor Jha, Dr. Raman, Dr. Pillai and Dr. Raghunath, so I think all statistics figures I have closed a thought to share today because none of them can be so perfect like Dr. Raghunath has stated. So I come from 3 decades spending in IT industry. I come from hardcore manufacturing. And at my time, I think it was somewhere in '89 I started my career. And at that time, you will not able to see much female in my area. Going to shop floor and then when in a manufacturing company, workers, they work like that and they will stop working and looking at the shop floor lady who has come into their area. I come from that background, and then I travel today. I mean, people feel proud in any female employee if they are working in good hiring position. So not only digitally India has transformed, if you see thought-wise also we have come very much forward as a community. And most of the time I interact with my CIO community, or most of the time on digital engagement. But this time it is a very good privilege for me to interact with an institution which has got into so many, I mean, digital transformation, so many different segments which they are trying to pick up for a next generation. So I would just take up the theme today rather than, and share my core practical experience, what I have gone through, almost 30 plus years of experience in this field, and which would be, I think, would be very practical, because what I see in these students as me, no matter how digitally we have progressed and taking things online, but still it's always feel very good when we interact personally, we listen each other and then learn from each other interacting them personally. So about the theme of today, which is value chain, I would just say first explain what is the value chain we understand. In my time, it used to be a supply chain. Supply chain means, okay, right from product, raw material procurement till the delivery of the finished product used to be the supply chain. But during the course of year, as we have digitally also progressed, and at the same time we also become little customer centric. So we thought to do some good value addition from upstream to downstream, which is a complete management of product life cycle. And with that, the supply chain becomes the value chain. But value chain, again, it was not that enough to cater all the related requirement, what is needed from the raw material till the product delivery, and then customer value addition built into that. So probably the digital transformation is felt the need of the value chain. And that is how we are able to see many practical experiences around, where day by day we are seeing that every product manufacturer, they wanted to build some digitally transformation and some value addition, adding some digital inputs and outputs to that, so that at the end it is a win-win situation for product manufacturer, at the same time for customer also. Few of my practical examples, like Dr. Shivankar, he quoted about the farmer digital transformation. So that is, by default we all are into urban area where we learn many things near around from us through digitally transforming things. But it is very important that how we go back and see farmers, because our farmers are very powerful, they are quite strengthened. We need to digitally transform them to get the value what they are investing for the country. And what is experience wise, we see that how we have come for the farmers also, like Dr. Raghunath quoted that some of the government projects are also focused on the digital transformation. In the past time, if you have to judge a mango, how you would have judged that? You would pick up the mango, probably you will see how is the size of the mango, how is the robustness in that, is it stiff or it has gone little towards the expiry. That was the manual parameter. But we tried, with the time we transform and we tried to build the value chain in that. And to do that, the entire study is been with AI, algorithm, etc. has been built. And these days, not all farmers, but they know that if they are exporting or within country also distributing a product, they know that how is the value chain to be built in that, so that their product is in demand, no matter how expensive compared to the other product which are not digitally enabled, but still there is a zeal to do that and to adopt that. And the example what I was talking about, the mango, these days all mangoes, they have been analyzed that okay, if the production date of the mango is, which is, I mean, pricked from the tree is so and so, size is so and so, so multiple algorithm, those are built into that, and based on that the product has got these days identification that it will be best before use of so and so days, it will start getting little loose by this time, something like that. We are digitally, I mean, we have gone till farmers also. Now another example, which is a very practical example, and I would talk more on practical because my own hands are very dirty. Very dirty means I come here after 30 years of experience working on the ground, right from infrastructure to now I am heading a company which is, I mean, a different company where different digitization and on many projects I am leading. And I come from a ground, so many of the practical experiences are with me. If you remember in the earlier times, maybe at your times also, you might have seen the cars. They were just very much, I mean, good to buy because of their brand, because of their color and whatever fuel efficiency, etc. But these days customers, I mean, the manufacturers, they have created value chain in that. The cars, maybe with slight price on higher side, they come built with all ECUs. ECUs means customer would like to spend more money, but he would like to see that what kind of features built. I worked almost for 20 years in a company called JCB. You might be knowing, some of you may not be knowing. But in JCB, those big products, those are in lakhs at that time, somewhere in the year of 2000 around, I think. At that time, those big mafias, they used to target that particular machine, they used to hijack that and they used to keep it somewhere. But what manufacturer has thought as a value chain through digital transformation is they built the ECU unit in that. And it costed bit than before the machines were produced at the cost. But with that, the manufacturer got the surety that wherever machine will go, probably no matter where it is, but the OEM fleet owner will come to know okay where the machine is, because the longitude, latitude capturing and the ECU is fitted, it will send some triggering messages to the owner on their mobile, on their mail IDs. So that becomes the value chain for that particular product, and then the sale all of a sudden got very much good in increase in spite of having a bit of cost. So I'm saying the value chain for digital, through digital transformation is always a win-win scenario for a manufacturer. And these days, I mean, car owners also, anywhere if they want just to switch off, it is all in ECO, it is all built. And these are all young brain minds, they have contributed that. And not to only give you some few of the examples where we are really thinking that value chain has literally contributed from both the sides, customer side also and manufacturer side also. But as a country also, we, no matter we have to go a long way, but we progressed a lot. Recently I visited some of the country, I would not like to take the name, but that was a very prosperous country, oil country, very prosperous, and in terms of all infrastructure, everything, it was very good. But to my surprise, they were digitally far behind. So then I realized what my country is. You look at it, you go to any vegetable shop, no matter, sometimes in hurry, if I forget my wallet, it will not matter for me. Only one mobile is sufficient to buy anything, until unless the amount is in my bank. But what I am saying, you look the value chain, how it is created. One transformation for this Paytm, Google Pay, all collaboration also is another important thing in digital transformation. It has worked. One mobile, one app, you can scan any of the application, it will work for you. So I'm saying, then I felt, oh my God, my country is so prosperous, no matter financially wherever we are. But you look at technology wise, how prosperous we are. We are able to do digitally, not only credit card, though I think we left far behind, but we have come up to a stage where one mobile is enough to, explore the digital transformation in the country. I wish, and I called those guests to come in my country. I feel that proud in doing that. another thing, like few another examples I give you where you will also feel ki really, yes, we have long way to go, but still we should be feeling proud about our country digital transformation. I mean, one of the study I wanted to just share that happened in India. Xiaomi is a country, and Xiaomi is a product, Xiaomi, and in that product, all shares were, I mean, prior the business was going down in the country, and then this quote, why I am quoting, is there is a purpose behind digital transformation. Just does not happen like that. It has to be well studied. It has to build with human intelligence along with cyber security and all. So when the market was going down, probably all top officials of that company, they spent 10 minutes in the field to find out what is their pain area. And probably with the 10 minutes of time spent in 1 month, they built market intelligence. And further, I mean, they were able to see their process, I mean, their business, they were on the upper side. So what I wanted to say here is that digital transformation is very important for the agility and speed. But at the same time, it has to be built with some, I mean, human built intelligence experiences, because these days ChatGPT is also there, Google we already experienced, chatbot already we have experienced. But everything has to be studied, and then only it has to be converted into digital transformation, because implementation is one thing, adaptation is more important thing. These days, I mean, all previous bots, I mean, I never liked that bot, because I would think that 15 minutes I'll spend on the all automatic that chat process. It's better I call and find out what is needed. So I meant to say that these all we have come up to a stage where, I mean, digital transformation is flowing all around. And probably I think Dr. Raman, he quoted for that cantina and canteen digitization. So, I mean, being my hands dirty, I would definitely like to hear him what stop further to implement that, because I see these days our infrastructures also there and opportunity, and then there is a need also for digitization. So I conclude my all sharing of my experiences and all with this, like, you think digital and you live digital, there is a lot of opportunity, and I look too much of energy in all this young generation, where I feel ki whatever we did, they will do better than us. Digi Yatra, as you see ki these days they have introduced. So what I am saying is that there are a lot of opportunity. Digi Yatra is coming, and further, I mean, far behind we can think of that. These days even telecallers, these have converted into all bot calls. You will feel like someone human is talking to you. So opportunity are too much. You need to just focus, okay, where you need to contribute for yourself, your family and your country. Digitally think and then implement. That is all. Thank you very much. But definitely that canteen case study I would like to go through. Okay, I think we are done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Your words have left a profound impact on all of us. And we are honored to have the opportunity to hear from someone as knowledgeable and experienced as you.
Now we'll play the proceeding video of SICTIM 2023. and gentlemen, as we come to the closing of this event, it's my pleasure to call Professor Sudarshan Sirshar, convener, SICTIM 23, to propose a vote of thanks.
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, all the dignitaries and all my dear students. Today, I stand here as a proud SICTIM 23 convener and a grateful team member to express my heartfelt thanks to all those who have made this event possible. I would like to start by thanking our management, who have always been supportive of our initiatives and encouraged us to drive for the excellence. I would also like to extend my gratitude to various other peoples. I would like to name them. First of all, I would like to thank IEEE Bombay section for officially sponsoring us technically for publishing the proceeding in IEEE Digital Explorer. I would like to thank Chief Guest Dr. Benita Prasad for accepting our invitations and making time out of busy schedule. Guest of honor Rohit Kilam sir, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a profound experience of yours as a life experience. Dr. B. Satyanarayan sir has to leave early because of his prior commitments, but his presence was definitely very meaningful to us as an SICTIM team. Vice Chancellor sir, out of his busy schedule, sir was agreed to join on the Zoom link and he delivered the address. We are really very grateful to sir. Provost Sir Dr. Raghunath Shevgavkar, he has been there throughout the year, supporting us for various things, starting from, I guess, when we had an idea of IEEE conference, we first reached out to sir and asked sir, we need your help, and he was always there. Please come, we will have a discussion and then we'll sort things, don't worry. Our Dean Director sir, Dr. Ramachandran, he's really helped us in all the support required. Whenever we asked for something, he never said no. That is the most important support. Dr. Santosh Chapmaneri sir, he's from IEEE Bombay section and he was volunteered and officials sent from IEEE Bombay section for helping us in proceeding and technical program committee quality management throughout. We have a whole TPC team who helped us in various quality management aspects and processes. We have various members like Professor Boan, Dr. Arit Goyal. We as a SICTIM team, Shevgavkar sir is there, TPC chair Dr. Sangeeta Rajesh is there. They all have done a lot of efforts towards making this proceeding. This video is very short, but the efforts behind that is very, very rigorous. Then publication team, we are working from last 15 to almost 20 days thoroughly, and then just try to make sure that whatever norms and rules and regulations have IEEE Bombay section and Digital Explorer have set, we are trying to be up to the marks for that. We are thankful to all the technical and non-technical staff who have helped us in managing this event. Publication team, PR team, and Arvind for giving us the live YouTube support and various others approvals for posting things on social media and various other handles. All the DST faculties for supporting us in and out for various other processes like finance, other arrangements, and there are few tracks that we will have tomorrow for that. They will be doing some in-chargeship and they will help us in smooth conduct of this paper presentation. All my SICTIM junior and senior student team, they have helped me thoroughly from last 1 year to manage all the small and major things. I might have yelled at them at various times, but please don't take it literally. Conference chair, Dr. D.G. Jha sir, he has always supported me whenever I wanted to have a freedom of implementation. He used to say, yes, go ahead, whatever you feel, you do it, don't worry, I'm there with you. however it goes, don't worry about it. So that support was very much important for me. My co-convener, Dr. Sangeeta Rajesh, she helped us thoroughly, and her dedication, we can see that in spite of being not so well, she joined us from yesterday. Thank you so much, ma'am. And all the others, finally, I would like to thank that each and every one of you for your support and participation in making this event grand success. Your contribution not have gone under notice, and I am, as a team of SICTIM 23, is grateful for all that you have done. Sorry if anything has gone wrong, you can blame it on me. If anything has gone great, please cheers to my team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now we will going to end the live session.